Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Sarvalokanam, Vishaje Bhavaroginam, Nidhaye Sarvavidyanam, Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Harihi Om. योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचं मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि. So in the first chapter, Patanjali speaks about what you can attain through yoga. He lets us know that the misery that we experience is because of the inability to manage the tendencies of the mind, and through yoga you can manage. And when you manage, what do you experience? You experience a higher state of consciousness called samadhi, a state of equanimity, a state of stillness, a state of contentment, a state of clarity. And it describes different states of samadhi, from the very basic to the very advanced. And he ends the chapter by speaking about the nirbhija samadhi, a state of total no-mindness in which the self shines through as it is, where the truth is realized. And the impact of this state is so strong that it has the ability to erase all the remnants of the previous impressions and make you pure and untouched. Now, this is all very nice, but how do we actually get to that stage? That he explains in this chapter. First he explained what is it that you can achieve. Now he is saying, how can you get there? It's called Sadhana Pada. Sadhana is the effort to overcome the conditioning of the mind. In the Yoga Vasishta it says, mind is conditioned consciousness. How to decondition it? The process of deconditioning the mind into its source, which is pure consciousness. That is sadhana. So, before getting into sadhana, you need to undergo some discipline. You need some preparation. We are all used to doing, as long as we identify ourselves with the body and the mind, there is no escape from action. So, first step, he says, is to make sure your action is optimized. This process of optimizing the action and your attitude to life is called Kriya Yoga. Tapas Swadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. The components of Kriya Yoga include Tapas, Swadhyaya and Ishvara Pranidhana. Why you should engage in Kriya Yoga? Samadhi bhavanarthaha klesha tanu karanarthaha cha. So that it becomes easy for you to experience Samadhi, and also the afflictions or the sources of misery can be thinned out. Misery which is a resultant of the impressions that can be thinned out so that they don't act as obstacles for your experience of samadhi. Last time we saw the various obstacles, from physical disease to doubt to instability, unsteadiness, non-sustenance of the state of meditation, all these things. They are all just the byproduct of the changing gunas, which are in turn the product of the impressions that are stored in consciousness. So, through Kriya Yoga, you make sure all these are slowly chipped away and you become eligible and ready to experience Samadhi. And what are these kleshas? Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, kleshaha. These are the 5 afflictions or sources of misery. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha and abhinivesha. What is avidya or ignorance? Avidya kshetram uttaresham. Avidya is the main culprit. The ignorance is the main culprit. And in the field of ignorance, the other 4 sources of misery also sprout and prosper. Prasupta tanu vichinna udarana. These afflictions can be dormant in you. They can be mild, or they can be intermittent, or they can be continuous and profuse. Depending on how they are expressing in you, that much miserable you will be. If it is prasupta, at the moment you are okay, but it is just waiting to sprout. When it is tanu, you are not very happy, but you are okay, but then you keep on, there are few things coming up here and there, here and there, here and there. Intermittent, sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. Profuse, udarana means they are continuously bothering you and you are totally miserable. So worried, stressed, unhealthy. Anitya, ashuchi, dukkha, anatmasu, nitya, shuchi, sukha, atmakyatihi, avidya. So what is the definition of avidya? Avidya is mistaking the anitya as nitya. That which is temporary, you take it as permanent. We all know that this body is temporary and we are going to die one day, but you live as if you are not going to die. You have a feeling that somewhere deep inside, I am not going to die, everybody may die. Even when you see somebody very close passing away, it doesn't hit you that this may happen to you also. One day you may be lying down there. Ashuchi, ashuchi, that which is impure as pure. Look at this body. If you look at this body with a little bit more awareness, you will see that this is so unclean. All blood and flesh and excreta and everything in it. It is so ugly and impure. But looking at it as if it is the most attractive thing in your life. Ashuchi, mistaking that for shuchi. Dukkha to sukha. All the bondages in we have, this samsara is full of dukkha. Another shloka, sutra, he says, in the coming up sutras, how everything is full of misery in this samsara, but you keep looking for sukha in the same samsara. In spite of knowing that it is full of dukkha, you are not ready to let go of it. You don't want to release it. That's why if you ask people, do you want happiness or do you want liberation? They choose happiness. Because liberation means ability to let go of this world. Ability to let go of your bondages, of your attachments. And then you will say, if I let go of all this, what is there? Nothing is remaining in my life. You have forgotten your own relationship with your own self. But you want to preserve the relationships with everything else, with all the people around you, possessions around you. But you are happy to let go of the relationship with your own self. This is anatmaso atma. That which is non-self, treating it as if you treat yourself. This is avidya. What? Mistaking the temporary for the permanent, unclean for the clean, that which is the source of misery as the source of joy, and that which is not yourself as yourself. This is ignorance, avidya. Drik darshana shaktiyor ekatmateva asmita. There is an experiencer and there is a witness. All experiences stop at the level of the mind, pleasant or unpleasant. Even enlightenment is at the level of the mind, is the cleansing of the mind. The mind which by default tries to find the joy in the world, when it is cultured, when it is mature, when it is purified of the impressions that is driving it out, it starts focusing on the source, which is full of joy and knowledge. That state is enlightenment. But that is also an experience. That is also happening in the mind. But the witness is not experiencing it is only witnessing. When there is a confusion between the witness and the experiencer, that is asmita. When you mistake the experiencer as the real you or not the witness, that is asmita. Sukhanushayi raga. Craving follows a pleasant experience. You have a pleasant experience, the mind says, I want it again. I want more of it. Last time it was not enough. I want a little more. So you start trying to find, where did I get this from? Let me go for it. And slowly, this desire to attain to that becomes a habit. And if it gets worse, it becomes an addiction. Sukhanushayi raga. Because there is a hope that I will get joy there. And so keep on investing your energies in that. Dukkhanushayi dvesha. And you had an unpleasant experience and you want to run away from it. You went in a giant wheel when you were a little boy, you got really scared, you never get on it again in your life. You are averse to it. Or you had a bad experience trying to swim and then you are afraid of water. You are afraid of heights. You don't want. You are afraid of flying. It is all aversions. Or certain foods. What is it? This has followed an unpleasant experience. That unpleasant experience has stuck in the memory so strongly that is preventing you in experiencing that particular dimension of life. Swarasavahi vidusho api tatarudaha abhinivesha. The fifth affliction or fifth source of misery is abhinivesha. Abhinivesha is this tendency to cling on to life. A little bit of this clingingness is there to make sure the body is preserved. See, children have very little abhinivesha. That is why they can just run into the street. They can jump into the water. They can do whatever without any caution. But the abhinivesha is there so that you don't destroy this body by carelessness. But when that abhinivesha gets a little bit more intense, it becomes fear and paranoia, attachment, anxiety. There are people who are about to have an operation, about to have an anesthesia, and then they become very anxious at that time because they feel that sense of they're losing control of everything. Oh, something is happening. I'm preserving my body, my senses, everything, and I'm now giving away my control. Vidusho api. This will affect even the wise. Even you might have been very wise, you might have said so many times that, this body is nashvara, is in fact is going to die, don't be attached. But you are also attached to that body. Swarasavahi vidusho api tatarodha abhinivesh. Just become aware of this tendency to cling on to life, irrespective of all the misery that is being experienced. That is abhinivesh. These are the 5 afflictions or the 5 sources of misery. Te pratiprasavaheyaha sukshmaha. These afflictions are very subtle. If you not pay attention to what's happening inside, you will not be even aware of it. You are in their grip, but you are not even aware that they are causing trouble to you in your life. So they are sukshmaha. So what should you do? Te pratiprasava heyaha. You need to control them, manage them before they become strong in your life. Dhyana heyaha tat vrittayaha. These can be managed in their very mild form through meditation. Now, where did they come from in the first place, these kleshas? How did they arise in our system? Klesha mulaha karmashayi drushta adrushta janma vedaniya. The source of all these kleshas is your karma account, the tank of karma. Ashaya means a storehouse. Your locker, your karma locker, whatever you have stored in that locker, seen or unseen, drushta, adrushta. Some of them you may be aware why this is happening to you in your life. Some of them may not be aware. All your experiences are a result of an action which was done before, and that action is coming back to you as a pleasant or an unpleasant experience. Some of them you may be aware that if something is happening, look, I did something like this to somebody, look, it is coming back. Or most of it you may not even be aware when this happened. Janma vedaniya. It could have happened in this lifetime or in many other lifetimes. So, the source of these kleshas is the karma that has been accumulated in your account over many lifetimes, and these actions could be either seen or unseen. Sati mule tad vipako jati ayuhu bhogaha. As long as the remnant of these impressions remain in your account, as long as your account has some minimum balance, it will sprout and give its result. Vipaka is the result of that karma, such as jati ayu bhogaha. Where you will be born, in which womb you will be born, amongst which family, amongst what type of people you will be born. Ayuhu, how long you will be there in this body. And bhogaha, and what you are going to experience. Bhogaha does not mean just pleasure, it could be pleasure or pain. All the experiences you are going to have, all these are determined by the karmas in your account. Te ahlada paritapa palaha punya apunya hetutvat. Depending upon what is stored in your account, if in your account there is punya that is stored, you experience pleasantness. If it is papa that is stored, or sin or the demerit that is stored, then you experience unpleasantness. So, whenever you are experiencing anything nice, know that you are emptying your karma account of your punya. You are encashing your punya. At the same time, when you are experiencing something unpleasant, know that you are clearing some of your bad karmic debts. So for a wise person, going through this experience is an action of awareness. He does not feel very overjoyed when pleasant experiences come, because he is aware that he is losing all the merits. So when everything goes, then the experiences are also gone. And when he goes through unpleasantness, he is not averse, he is not resisting it, because he is feeling happy, or at least relieved that some burden is being removed from me. It is going through me. Let it go. While I am strong and alert and intelligent, let it move through me. All these processes of going through astrology or going through this person, that person, and trying to make sure that you get rid of this problem He's just postponing it. You can never be free from it. Do you see? And it is so much effort. Astrology is a predictive science for you to be aware that what is coming up in your life and be ready for it. Instead of praying for the strength to move through it, we try to find ways, upayas to get away from it. You can get away now, it will come back to you again another time, because that impression will not go away. Only through meditation it will go away, not through any actions or upayas. You see, it is very essential. These two things. One, what? When the unpleasantness comes through to you, embracing it and realizing that you are actually unburdening yourself by going through that with conviction, with faith, with endurance. The second is, if you are using something like astrology, using it to foresee that is coming. Okay, in these 3 months, in these 6 months, this is what is expected to move through me. Let me prepare myself. It's like you want to go on a run on a 10K or a marathon. For 6 months before you start preparing, isn't it? On that day you can't run, you will collapse. So for 6 months you start running. Today 5 kilometers, and next week I will do 6, then 8. You keep on moving. You take the right type of food. You keep looking for a start counting your days. Astrology should be viewed from that angle. Okay, this is coming, I'm getting ready, now come. Rather than it is coming, I'm running away from it, I'm trying to find how to run away from it. Oh, this is happening. That is an ignorant way of dealing with life. Te ahlada paritapa palaha punya apunya hetutva. Depending upon what is there in your account, you may experience pleasantness or unpleasantness. Parinama tapa sanskara dukkaihi gunavritti virodaccha dukkam eva sarvam vivekinaha. If you look from the eyes of the wise, everything in the world is just misery. It is the samsara is like a sugar-coated pill. The sweet is only on the surface. You keep it on your tongue for a little longer, the bitterness will become. Just so that you can take it, the sugar coating is there. Parinama tapa samskara dukkai. When you don't have something, not having that is painful. That lack, I don't have it, is painful. Look at people, oh, I am not married, I don't have a job, my children are not settled, oh, it has not happened, is painful. Now, to make it happen, all the gymnastic and circus you do run around, that is also not pleasant. That is stressful, tiring. And then when it happens, then there is a fear that I don't know how long this will last. I don't know if I will be able to hold on to it or not. But that is desire that is fulfilled now. Is it going to stay with me or not? That anxiety is painful. And when finally it goes away, then the memory of when it was there is also, oh, it was so nice when it is not there. Do you see this? So where was the joy? You sought joy in fulfilling a desire, and then you ran behind it, you got it completed, and then you watched it move away from you as well. So in every step it was only pain. Guna vritti virodatcha. A sattva guna dominates in you. You feel light, pleasant, happy, joyful. You are in the session, you are meditating, you wake up with a big smile. The session is over, you meet somebody, they say something, suddenly the guna has changed. Then there is anger, there is greed, there is jealousy. Suddenly something else happened. You say, oh, this was not what I was. Then the tamo guna comes, complete disinterested in life. You don't want to do anything. There is no enthusiasm. So the gunas are constantly moving in your system, causing very conflicting experiences. That is also painful because you can't hold on to one thing. So in the eyes of the wise, sarvam evam dukkhamayam vivekinaha. For the awakened one, for the alert one, he sees the samsara is just full of pain. There is no joy anywhere. It's the sugar-coated pill. It appears to give you joy. It instills in you a hope of joy, but actually there is no joy. Heyam dukkam anagatam. So the wise will make sure that this misery which has not arisen should be removed or will be removed. Drushta drushyayoho samyogaha heya hetuhu. The reason for the misery in the samsara is the mixing up of the scenery and the seer. When you are not aware, you are mixed up. You don't know what is scenery, what is seer. And you are confusing yourself as the scenery when actually you are the seer. And this mixing up is the reason why the afflictions start becoming stronger in you. Prakasha kriya sthiti sheelam bhutendriya atmakam bhoga apavargartham drushya. What are the qualities of the scenery? Here it defines the scenery. Prakasha kriya sthiti is sattva, rajas and tamas. Light, activity and inertia. Bhutendriya atmakam. They are composed of the 5 elements. The matter is qualified by the 3 gunas. It is composed of the 5 elements. And why it is there? Bhoga apavargartham. It is there to see, to experience and let go. Not to hold on. It's like you go to a movie, you see a movie, you experience, you enjoy, but you don't sit in the movie hall. Movie is over, you come out. You leave it and come out. You go to a holiday, a vacation, you see some nice things, you take some photographs and then you move on. You experience and you leave it and come back. This is what the scenery is for. See, very beautifully he explains. The scenery is qualified by the gunas. It keeps changing. It is made up of the 5 elements. And then it is something for experiencing and leaving behind and letting go. Vishesha avishesha linga matra alingani guna parvani. The other qualities of it include, it could be special or it could be ordinary. It need not always be special, the scenery. There are some things which may not even notice because they are not very special. Linga matra alinga, it may be with form, it may be formless. You know, all the objects you see are form. The mind is formless. Mind is also made of the sukshma matter. Subtle matter forms the mind, the ego. They are also part of the jada. They are also part of the matter of the scenery. Drashta drushi matraha shuddho api pratyaya anupashyaha. The seer is just a witness. He is a non-doer, non-engager with anything. But when the seer moves through the scenery, when the seer moves through the mind and the gunas, he still sees the scenery. The seer is just a witness. But when he moves through the gunas and the mind, he experiences the scenery like everybody else. Tadartha eva drushyasya atma. That is the only purpose of the scenery. This is an irony that the scenery is there so that you realize that you are not the scenery. The scenery is present so that the seer finds himself separate to the scenery. That is the only purpose of the scenery. You experience, let go and know that I am not that. I have got this body, I will use this body, I will take care of this body, but I am not this body. I have got this mind, I have got these thoughts, emotions, feelings which are moving, changing, I am experiencing them, but I am not them. You see, krutartam prati nashtam api anashtam tadanya asadharanatvat. Now, even through awareness and practices, you reach this state, you fulfill this purpose of separating yourself from the scenery. Even then you will still experience the scenery because generically it is seen by everybody. So even if you are enlightened, you will see the world, you will see the people like the ignorant one only. It will not be like that for the enlightened the sun does not appear or sun is seen as blue, while for the ignorant it sees as yellow. It's not like that. The enlightened also sees the scenery just like the ignorant one, but his perception of it, his view on it, his attachment to it is different. He is very clearly reposing in the self, whereas the ignorant is reposing in the scenery. A wise, the awakened one reposes in the seer because he knows that is the truth. Whereas the ignorant one reposes on the scenery, on the movie screen, holding it that to be reality. Swaswami Shaktayoho Swarupe Upalabdhihi Hetuhu Samyogaha. Now he says the very purpose of this mixing up is that you put an effort and wake up and separate these two. It's like you do this, this crossword puzzle. You take the crossword puzzle. Why do you take it? So that you find out what is there. All is hidden. You find out, this is this. Or you go into a maze. Why? So that you find a way out of the maze. Isn't it? So this is all like game, a play. For the divine, the Prakriti is a scenery, is a game, is a leela. And for the seer, it is a game so that you get into it and find yourself how to get out of it. Swami Shaktyoho Swarupe Upalabdhi. Just to make sure the power of the seer, the power of the self, the scenery is there, scenery is mixed up with the seer. So the wise, through their power of discrimination and their awareness, they will separate the scenery and the seer and they will stay apart from it. Tasya hetur avidya. When you are not able to do that, what happens is called ignorance. Ignorance is the state when you are confused between the scenery and the seer and you don't have the ability to separate them. Everything that can be seen is the scenery. That which cannot be seen only is the seer. So in that sense, look around everything. In the samsara, your family, your relationships, your possessions, your attachments, everything is scenery. Knowing that that is all there so that I know how to get away from that. So that I know how to separate myself from that is the only purpose. When I forget this purpose, then I am in ignorance. Tat abhavat sanyoga bhavaha hanam tad drushehe kaivalyam. What is liberation? What is enlightenment? It is that state when there is abhava of this avidya. When you have learned the skill of separating the scenery and the seer and you are reposing in the seer. The first stage is when everything is mixed up. Scenery and seer is mixed up. Then you start your practices and realize that scenery and seer are separate. And then in deep meditation or in sleep, also you experience that the scenery actually does not exist outside. It is only in the mind, and when the mind quietens, it is absorbed into the mind. The scenery disappears. And then when there is a realization of the knowledge of the self, then you see only seer is real, scenery is just an appearance. So these are different stages of moving. And this stage wherein only the seer sees it, only when you see only the seer as reality and the scenery as just an illusion is called Kaivalya. Kaivalya means just, Kevala. Just the seer exists. Just the seer is real. Scenery is like a movie. Only the one person who is watching the movie is real, but the movie is unreal. When this clarity comes, the state of such clarity is called Kaivalya. And how do you overcome this ignorance, this mixing up? How do you get this ability? Viveka kyatihi aviplava hanopaya. Through the uninterrupted shining of Viveka. Again and again questioning, is this temporary or is it permanent? And where should I invest myself? In the temporary or in the permanent? Every time you start investing your energies into something, asking the question, is this temporary or permanent? It is ashuchi or shuchi? Is it sukha or dukkha? And then moving towards that which is permanent, that which is Shuchi, that which is Sukha, that is Viveka. Uninterruptedly reposing in the Viveka, that will help you to separate the scenery from the seer. What is the other method? Tasya saptada pranta bhumihi prajna. Also through observing the 7 levels of your awareness. The 7 chakras which are there, from the lowest to the highest, when you keep on observing and seeing that everything is happening as a movement of the prana in the different nadis. It is not me or somebody else who is doing it. All this drama is happening inside. Even then you can destroy ignorance. So you move from disturbance to peace, from peace to knowledge, from knowledge to freedom, from obligation to having love for all, and then to contentment, then to freedom. This is another 7 steps of movement Yoga Vasishta gives this. First you become peaceful. When do you become peaceful? When you are ready to accept life. With all the uncertainties, you say, this is how it is okay. Then peace comes. Only when you say no, conflict arises, isn't it? The beginning of every conflict starts with a no. So peace is when you say yes to life. And with this peace, you get clarity. When there is no agitation in your mind, then you are ready to receive knowledge and you become easily perceptible to knowledge. Knowledge is better perceived. And what does this knowledge do? Knowledge makes you realize that you are not obliged to anybody in this universe except your own self. Whatever you are doing to everybody is not a duty, it's just out of your concern. Duty is bounding, isn't it? Duty is binding. When you say something as duty, it means that you should do it. You can't escape from it. But when you say, I'm not obliged to anybody, I'm doing it because I love to do it, I want to do it, that knowledge brings that you are just the seer. All the scenery is a game. When you want, you play, and you don't want, you withdraw. So that state is freedom from obligation. When you're not obliged to anybody, then there is a sense of connection with everybody. That is an unconditional state of love. And when you are able to reach out to everybody, offer yourself to everybody, there is this sense of fulfillment in you that you are so useful to everything around you. You want nothing but you are ready to give everything. That brings contentment, abundance. When dispassion dawns in you, when the sense of abundance comes to you, contentment comes. And then you experience this freedom. So it is even through these steps of growing in energy, growing in awareness, moving through the 7 chakras and moving through the 7 levels of progress, also you can overcome ignorance. Yoganushthanat ashuddhikshaye gnana diptihi viveka kyatihi. Or you can do it by engaging with the 8 limbs of yoga. Engaging with the 8 limbs of yoga, what happens? Ashuddhikshaye, the impurities or the impressions will be removed, will dissolve. Gnana diptihi, the light of knowledge will shine through you. Viveka kyatihi, the power of discrimination will become stronger in you. And what are these 8 limbs? We'll look into it next time. Okay? Wonderful. Sahana bhavatu, sahano bhunaktu, saha viryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaः, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkhabhat bhavet. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. ಲೋಕಾ ಸಮಸ್ತ ಸುಖಿನೋ ಭವಂತು. ಓಂ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ.